Good evening. Welcome to Satellite Showtime. I'm Pat Olson. Among the corporate sponsors for our show, Luxor North America and Qualtronics Incorporated. If you thought the satellite trade show in Las Vegas earlier this spring was big, you should have seen the Consumer Electronics Show in Chicago last week. It was huge, with an estimated 100,000 people attending. It was held at the McCormick Complex in downtown Chicago. An exhibitor at the show testified how big it really was. I think you were saying that the Consumer Electronics Show is the second biggest trade show. What's the first?
It's an automotive show that's held in Frankfurt, Germany every 2 years called Automechanica. But aside from it, I think CES is the largest trade show in the world. I mean, 100,000 people, they take over the entire McCormick Hall, plus 2 hotels downtown. We had to stay, incidentally, out at the airport because the rest of the hotel rooms in Chicago were gone. It's a huge show.
The satellite industry played only a small role at the Consumer Electronics Show in Chicago, as you will learn later in this program. Satellite Showtime will continue in a minute.
For a limited time only, you can receive Channel Guide for a special reduced rate. For just $9, you will receive 8 weeks of Channel Guide, a month of Galaxy One magazine, and the all-new 1985 Whole Earth Station catalog. That's a $20 value for just $9. Enclose check and address, and you'll start receiving the original grid format for satellite TV. Due to this low price, no phone orders may be taken. Write today. Channel Guide, Department 808A, P.O. Box 1633, Englewood, Colorado, 80150. Do it today.
Here's the perfect pair from Luxor, the 9550 receiver and the 9534 actuator. It's a totally integrated satellite TV reception system. The Luxor 9550 remote-controlled satellite receiver. 24 channels, selected, fine-tuned, programmed for automatic recall. 4 different audio systems, built-in RF modulator, automatic polarization, 2-speed scan, video inversion control, AFC defeat, Dolby noise reduction, and more. It's married to the Luxor 9534 antenna actuator, an automatic satellite selection by remote control, all at the touch of a button, with remarkable ease and accuracy thanks to the Luxor handheld remote commander. You wanted this consumer-friendly system, and Luxor has delivered. The 9550 receiver and the 9534 actuator by Luxor, a leader in radio and TV technology since 1923.
Here's a satellite industry news update brought to you through the cooperation of STV magazine. According to STV, adoption of a proposed rule on zoning may be only 1 month away. STV has learned the Federal Communications Commission may adopt the proposal July 8th. The rule would preempt local zoning ordinances in cases where the zoning is overly restrictive. The FCC has received more than 100 comments about the zoning proposal, including one from the National League of Cities opposing it. Sponsors of 2 bills in Congress are still looking for co-sponsors for their bills. The bills are H.R. 1769 and H.R. 1840. H.R. 1769 calls for a 2-year moratorium on scrambling, and H.R. 1840 calls for a fair marketing plan for scrambled programming. According to STV, another company is talking about marketing scrambled programming. It is American Communications Television Incorporated, which is owned by the same company that owns HBO, Time Life Incorporated. It's threatening to boycott satellite services that don't scramble. American Communications Television Incorporated is the 2nd largest cable company in the United States. Here's what one of our viewers has to say about companies packaging and scrambling programming.
But I do have a concern that this scrambling situation with HBO coming out and other people packaging is going to encourage many programmers to get into a package and therefore encourage them to scramble when they wouldn't have otherwise, just to be in somebody's package to delivery to the consumer.
In other industry news, the large cable company Telecommunications Incorporated is thinking about tying the knot with Time Life and buying Warner Amex Cable. As we mentioned earlier, Time Life owns HBO. And one last news item from STV magazine. A federal judge has ruled in favor of Starlink, a home satellite system dealer in Kansas. A cable company there had earlier this year accused Starlink of privacy because it was selling systems that could pick up pay movie channels. Space represented Starlink in that case and won the case. These news items brought to you through the cooperation of STV Magazine. Last week on Satellite Showtime, we asked you this question. Do you feel the media are being fair to the home satellite industry? And if not, what should the media do differently? Here are some of the answers we've received to that question.
Locally here, we've had a lot of bad press, and what I feel, if possible, is to get someone who's in the press industry, newspaper, local TV, affiliates, to actually come into satellite dealerships to show in a half-hour program or a 15-minute spotlight what satellite TV really is. One way to approach this on a dealer level is for the dealer to go in and talk to the editor, which I've done, and he's going to allow me to make a opposing viewpoint, and it's going to be printed in the newspaper.
I don't think the media has been fair in our area. This is mainly I'm in Hartford, Connecticut, and this is mainly the Hartford Current. And I think one of the main reasons is because the Hartford Current and our Hartford Cable Company is owned by the same company. I think what we have to do is, of course, like Space said, write to our congressmen and everything, and also write letters to our local zoning offices. Right now, because of the editorials, there was a ordinance that went in our local area about that dishes can't be seen from any street.
In fact, we had Viacom, a local outfit here, put out in the front page of the paper, in the one whole sheet of it anyway, a picture of a satellite dish, a pirate walking the plank with his foot on a TV, holding a remote and looking back at it. Then it proceeded to go in and talk about how there were these pirates stealing signals. And of course it made inferences all over the place, but every once in a while they'd say that satellite TV was legal, but of course with the general public reading it, not knowing any better, there was that inference there.
This week's question of the week is, do you consider scrambling a real threat to the satellite industry? Call us with your answer tonight. Our phone numbers are 1-800-826-5285 and 608-647-4246 and 608-647-8902. That question again, do you consider scrambling a real threat to the satellite industry? Coming up on Satellite Showtime, a talk with some of the exhibitors at the Consumer Electronics Show in Chicago about why they were there.
Luxor, space-age technology at an affordable price. Satellite receivers, antenna actuators, remote controls, and auxiliary sensors, all by Luxor. Here's a totally integrated satellite television reception system. The Luxor 9550 remote controlled satellite receiver. 24 channels, selected, fine-tuned, programmed for automatic recall. 4 different audio systems, built-in RF modulator, automatic polarization, 2-speed scan, video inversion control, AFC defeat, and Dolby noise reduction and more. The Luxor 9534 antenna actuator, automatic satellite selection by remote control, all at the touch of a button, remarkable ease and accuracy. And the Luxor Mark II, a high-performance block satellite television receiver system, several sets, each having their own independent channel selection at the same time from a single antenna. That's the Mark II. Just a few of the high-performance, technically advanced satellite products from Luxor.
Want to know more about satellite TV? Then go to the source for product reviews and how-tos. We're on the road and out in space and sometimes in very cold places with features and technical reports. It's all in satellite TV. That's only $19.95 for 12 big issues of STV Magazine. Call now, 1-800-438-2020, and get this LCD calendar clock free with your subscription. That's 12 big issues of STV Magazine and the clock for only $19.95. The number again is 1-800-438-2020. 1-800-438-2020. Call now.
Remember to call us tonight with your answer to our question of the week. Our question of the week this week is, do you consider scrambling a real threat to the home satellite industry? Our numbers, again, are 1-800-826-5285 and 608-647-4246 and 608-647-8902. Call us tonight. At the Consumer Electronics Show in Chicago, I asked some people who were exhibiting there about their businesses and why they were at the show. I'm talking now with Mark Sheldon, who is Marketing Director of the Chaparral Communications Corporation. Mark, could you tell me, why did you come to CES, Consumer Electronics Show?
Well, Pat, we've been to CES in the past. We came last January was our first time here. And I think there's no question about it, the satellite business is expanding. A lot of the people that we think of as traditional electronic retailers are here. A lot of them are interested in satellite, and as you can see from this crowd here, there's quite a few people interested in our business.
What kind of questions are people asking you?
I'm amazed at how knowledgeable the people are that are here. They are aware of satellite TV, they know how it works basically. Pretty much it's specific questions related to specific products that we build. I would say that's the major questions we get. What's coming new? Who's going to be building what? How do you think this or that? What's going to happen with 12 gigahertz? How about a variety of issues?
What new is coming?
Well, I think what's new and coming, and you can see it throughout this show, are systems which are more and more and more consumer friendly or user friendly. There are systems here that, compared to the systems we had 2 and 3 years ago, are just phenomenal. What I see coming is satellite TV that's as easy to do as any other home appliance you would own.
Could you tell us a little bit about Chaparral Communications?
Sure. Chaparral is located in San Jose, California. We're a private company and our only location is San Jose. We're a company which has always been in the satellite television business only. Our engineering and research and development has built many products which have affected home satellite TV. We build with one goal in mind, to make satellite TV better and to make it easier and easier for people to access satellite TV.
How many years into the future do you think satellite TV will be ultimately easy?
Quite honestly, I think satellite TV will be ultimately easy by mid-'86. And by mid-'86, I'm referring to plug together systems and wave them around in the sky and find pictures. I think we are dramatically close to systems which are just extremely easy for the user to use and for the installer and the dealer and the distributor to sell and service.
How expensive do you think these super easy systems will be?
That's a hard question to answer, but I do think that you can find systems now for as cheap as, I know of systems below $500, be they ever so humble. When you come to that point in pricing, you where are you going to go? $99? I don't know, but I think you will find systems that are going to be very, very, very inexpensive in the future. I'll tell you this, you can buy a satellite TV system today for less money than you can buy many 19-inch color television sets.
I'm talking now with Frank Talsdorf, who is co-owner and founder of Superwinch. What is Superwinch?
Superwinch is a manufacturer of electric winches and hoists. We started out in 1970 making boat trailer winches and then gradually moved into automotive winches and industrial, agricultural, and wide variety of others. We make more electric winches than any company on earth. That is our basic claim to fame.
What do you make now as part of the home satellite industry?
We make dish positioning systems. We make our own actuator and our own control boxes. And we entered it in 1982 as a diversification move from the winch business.
How do you like it so far?
Oh, I love it. I love the industry. It's a very exciting business. It's growing rapidly. There have been good times and bad times. The industry right now is not as prosperous and is growing as rapidly as it did in 82 and 83, but it's maturing rapidly, and that's a good thing to see.
Okay, what do you see for the rest of 1985?
I think it's still going to be a situation that early 1985 saw, which were too many manufacturers chasing too few customers, resulting in a lot of pressure on prices, lot of excess inventory in the distribution system. And I think what's going to happen is that the manufacturers and distributors and dealers of quality products will survive the shakeout, and the ones that are strictly price-oriented are going to have some tough days ahead.
What kind of questions do people come to you with when they come to your booth?
The good dealers come and they want to know what makes our actuator or our control box different. What's unique about it? The others come and the first thing they say is how much does it cost? And our response to them is, well, that's a question we never answer first off. We suggest that they might go to see other exhibitors because we're not a price house. But they want to know what our protection is against weather, how we handle ambience and line surges, how well it works in extremely cold climates with high wind loading and snow and ice, how easy it is to program. They have a lot of different questions. And we'll answer all of them except the first one, which is how much does it cost? We'll answer that at the end of the discussion, but not right off in the beginning.
Why did you decide to come to CES?
CES to me is where it's the world's, I think, second largest trade show. And satellite TV is becoming an integral part of consumer electronics. And we came here hoping to get our message to early or new arrivals to the TVRO business. People that are so new to the industry that they don't know about the space, STTI, and regional shows. They come to CES because they already sell televisions or VCRs or high fidelity equipment. And if they are interested in expanding their business, they'll come up to the satellite exhibit here, where we'll have a chance to get to meet them. They're new people, that's what we're looking for.
So I wondered, did you have the name Super Winch from the beginning of your company 15 years ago?
Yes.
Why have you stuck with it?
It's almost a generic name now because our products are so popular in automotive and marine. It's just a well-known name. We thought when we came into TVRO that we should call the product something else because we don't make a super winch for a dish. We make an actuator. But we found after going to several shows that people knew the winch business and our name from that industry. And they say, oh, well, I've got one of your winches on my boat trailer. Is your actuator work as good as it does? So we decided to trade on our good corporate name and keep it.
I'm talking now with Jerry Surprise of the Panasonic Corporation, and we can hear a lot of noise around us because this is a busy area, the Panasonic booth and the surrounding booths. And Jerry, could you tell me why did you come to the Consumer Electronics Show?
Yes, we come here to display our product, to talk directly to dealers and media, to explain what we're trying to do as a company and what our products are doing, and allow them to get hands-on knowledge of our products at the same time.
What kind of products?
Right now I'm concerned with television products, but Panasonic as a company has a myriad of products ranging from typewriters, calculators, audio, VCRs, you name it. Panasonic's involved in consumer electronics.
And how involved with the satellite industry is Panasonic?
Panasonic is involved with the satellite industry, but not the consumer electronics group. Our sister company, Panasonic Industrial Company, we call PIC, is handling our satellite receiver. We expect to be doing this in the future, though.
What kind of response have you received at this show?
The response has been very enthusiastic. In fact, more than we thought it would be, because some of the products we introduced at the Las Vegas show, but still drawing big crowds and a lot of enthusiasm. In fact, our digital TV that we have right here was displayed first at the electronics show in Las Vegas, but still a lot of interest, a lot of crowds, and we're very grateful for that.
You mentioned to me before this interview that this is a really big company. In fact, how many TVs has Panasonic's parent company sold?
This year, the parent company, Matsushita Electric in Japan, will build its 100 millionth television set. We're pretty proud of that as a company. It's a big number. It's a milestone.
What would you like to see for the future of your company?
For the future of our company, I think continued growth and recognition as a high-tech, state-of-the-art technology leading manufacturer.
You think that more and more people are appreciating consumer electronics?
Oh yes, consumer electronics are becoming more and more important to everybody in all walks of life, making life easier and more fun, and it makes it quicker to do a lot of things.
Satellite Showtime will continue right after this.
Are you confused about satellite programming guides? Are you tired of monthly inaccurate guides that are big and bulky and about as much fun to use as a city phone book? How about tabloids with hard-to-read print, incomplete movie listings that are about as easy to use as a road map? Or newspaper guides with confusing grids that fall apart in your hands? There is an alternative. OnSet, the easy-to-read, easy-to-use weekly programming guide with more movies and sports. Best of all, OnSet is only $39. That's right, 52 issues for only $39. But don't take our word for it. We'll send you a free copy of OnSet, and you can judge for yourself. And if you're a dealer, ask about our dealer program. Make your customers happy and make money. Call OnSat now. Toll-free 1-800-438-2020 or write OnSat, Box 2347, Shelby, North Carolina, 28150. OnSat, you've seen the rest, now try the best.
NASA is responsible not only for putting satellites into orbit, it does a whole lot more, as we see in this report from 1983.
Launched in 1972, NASA's Pioneer 10 spacecraft has accomplished many firsts over the course of its 11-year space odyssey. One was a successful passage through the rocky asteroid belt, a feat which greatly alleviated the fears of scientists concerned about damage to far-traveling spacecraft. Having safely journeyed the some 2.5 billion miles to Jupiter, Pioneer 10 transmitted valuable scientific information back to Earth. Information shedding new light on the composition and evolution of Jupiter and its moons. On June 13th of this year, Pioneer 10 will travel beyond all the known planets and become the first man-made object to leave the solar system. As NASA's Deep Space Network continues to track the spacecraft out to around 5 billion miles, researchers hope to learn more about the boundary between the Sun's atmosphere and true interstellar space. Pioneer 10, a spacecraft that has journeyed further than any other to the outer planets, and now beyond our solar system. A man-made object which will, from a new vantage point, in Whitman's words, look up in perfect silence at the stars. It's called ET, space shorthand for external tank. Over the past 2 years, several of these 78,000-pound structures, towering like huge silos over the shuttle orbiters and solid rocket boosters they support, have successfully carried the 520,000 gallons of liquid hydrogen and oxygen necessary to power the shuttle's 3 main engines. Although they have performed flawlessly, providing fuel up to about 80 miles above Earth's surface, then disintegrating upon re-entry, their structural design has been under study for some time now. Late last summer, a significantly lighter version was completed and rolled out at the Marshall Space Flight Center's Michoud Assembly Facility in New Orleans. By reducing the weight of the tank some 8,000 pounds, the shuttle will be able to carry an additional 8,000 pounds of cargo into space. One obvious weight reduction measure was taken before the third shuttle flight When 600 pounds of white latex paint used previously on the tank's outer surfaces was eliminated after data from the first 2 missions indicated that its thermal system would provide adequate protection without the paint. The most recent modifications include the use of thinner aluminum skin panels. A number of structural stiffeners running the length of the tank have also been eliminated. Once assembled, it's loaded aboard a NASA barge and shipped to the Kennedy Space Center, Florida, to be prepared for flight. While the first lightweight tank was used on Shuttle Mission 6, similar ones have either already been delivered or are in the process of being assembled by the Martin Marietta Corporation for shuttle flights 8 through 19. Although the external tank is currently the only major element of the shuttle not recovered, it is conceivable that at some future time, a properly designed tank could be used to carry additional cargo into space, or that several redesigned tanks could be linked together to form the nucleus of an Earth-orbiting space station. NASA's new ET, a lightweight external fuel tank that trims away unnecessary pounds, making it possible to increase the cargo carrying capacity of the space shuttle.
Bring the camera down so that we don't get quite so much background in there. You can see more of the payload bay.
Coming up on Satellite Showtime, the Caltronics video newsletter with Joe Kelch.
Welcome to the world of Satellite TV Opportunities, the magazine that brings you inside information on successful marketing and sales techniques, details the latest in new technology, and lets you see how other dealers increase their sales and profits.
Satellite TV Opportunities magazine is the marketing techniques magazine for satellite TV dealers. Our single purpose is to help dealers increase their sales and their profits through improved marketing techniques.
Satellite TV Opportunities offers insight into the latest trends in marketing, profiles thriving businesses, and surveys what TVRO buyers are really after. Subscribe today by calling 1-800-922-2812. For $25, you get a full year subscription to Satellite TV Opportunities, a magazine full of new ideas that will help your business thrive. 1-800-922-2812. Call today. MasterCard and Visa accepted.
Good evening. Welcome to the video newsletter with Caltronics News. Well, we just returned from the Windy City last week where the CES show was held, and windy is putting it mildly, as all of the distributors, dealers, and exhibitors would gladly attest to. We had the opportunity to talk to a Caltronics dealer from the state of Illinois, appropriately from just outside the Chicago area.
Well, here at the CES show, we've run into Randy Evans, WCOL Video Services down in Coal City, Illinois, which is, I understand is only 70 miles from here.
Yes,
Randy.
it's approximately 70 miles south of here on Interstate 55.
Okay, I just wanted to pinpoint it. Randy, you have been to CES shows here in Chicago for 8 years, is that right?
This is my 8th show here at the CES.
And you have... I think from our conversation earlier, you have some very interesting comments about the size of this show. It getting, is it not out of hand, but it's big.
Joe, it's getting bigger and bigger every year. And this year I've seen growth in satellite communications here. And I've seen a lot of new ideas and technical ideas. And just getting back to what I said earlier, about 3 years ago, I come to the show looking into satellite technology because I've had a lot of customers ask me about satellite TV. Is it a good thing to get into? Is it a bad thing? That sort of thing. So we did some investigation on it here at the show, and we found that the Caltronics stainless steel dishes were a far superb dish over other brands in the market, with the 10-year warranty that you offer on the stainless steel. It's just a super dish, and the ball bearing alignment that you have to align the dish with is really a great way to align the dish and set it up.
The only stainless steel antennas in the industry are produced by Caltronics. On a massive press that required 3 railroad cars to move to the plant site, the antennas are hydroformed each day. Using water in the hydroforming process, the antennas are turned out in 3 sizes: 66-inch, 90-inch, and 112 inches. Sheets of 304 gauge stainless steel are placed precisely on the press in preparation for the massive pressure to start the patented process during which the parabolic curve is developed. Tons of pressure are exerted during the process, an absolute necessity where stainless steel is concerned because of its superior strength and toughness. But once the stainless steel antenna is formed, it keeps that shape thanks to its molecular memory. That's why Caltronics can offer a 10-year warranty on its antennas. The parabolic curve will not change. The Nova SS 112-inch antenna has been tested and approved for 2-degree spacing. Tests were conducted by Telstat Corporation of Houston, Texas. Caltronics knows that because the press die is extremely accurate, thousands of dishes can be turned out with the same high quality. This is not the case with spun metal dishes, where each succeeding dish varies from the die because of the wear during the process. Stainless steel was chosen as the metal because of its vastly better tensile strength and qualities of reduced heat expansion. In fact, it has twice the resistance to heat expansion as aluminum and has 3 times the tensile strength. It's much smoother and is also non-corrosive. After the process during which the dish is formed, excess water is expelled while the majority of the water used in the forming process is recovered and recycled. The press slowly withdraws and permits workmen to remove the completed antenna, inspect it, and continue the water drainage. The 183-pound SS-112 is lifted effortlessly by the vacuum hoist, visually inspected, and moved to the cutting rack, where a workman neatly trims the surplus steel from the edges with a plasma cutter. The dish edges are clean and uniform after that process. The antenna is lifted off the cutting rack and swung over toward the finished stack. Once again, a visual inspection takes place. Workmen know that because the machine die is extremely accurate, thousands of dishes can be turned out with that same high quality.
And we've had nothing but success with the Caltronics satellite dish systems. And just last week, I put a Trans 10 together for the first time. Took us approximately an hour and a half to put together, and the picture quality is super. We're really proud of the Trans 10, and I just can't say enough about it. And of course, there again, the ball bearing design, the mount design of the Trans 10, and the ribbing of the Trans 10. There's really a lot to the Trans 10 that makes it strong.
You like the appearance, but also the strength?
The appearance is really super. I've had people tell me that, hey, you know, that is a good looking dish. It blends well with almost any home, you know, that you may have, and the strength of it is what really sells the unit. I mean, it's a strong dish, and it's something that will last, I'm sure.
The Trans 10 by Qualtronics, already a national leader in its first year because of quality, performance, and strength, all at a highly competitive price. Compare, and you'll see why it's a leader. Easy to look at, low luster appeal, black finish, and baked acrylic thermal set. Parabolically formed hub, a solid 14.5-inch diameter in prime steel. Ribs of superior strength tubular 16-gauge steel encased in polytrans vinyl. A patented design assures maximum reflector signal. UPS shippable anywhere in this country. The Trans 10 by Qualtronics, quality and beauty at a competitive price. Tested and approved to withstand wind velocities up to 90 miles per hour. Yes, tested and approved for 2-degree spacing by the McDonnell Douglas Corporation as well. The Trans 10, the antenna for every season.
You have reached out for customers for quite a few miles. In fact, you had one stainless steel sale. How far off was that?
It was 200 miles south of us, near Effingham, Illinois, a small town in St. Elmo, Illinois is actually the town. And since then, we've had a lot of calls from that area, and I think we may have to take a few more units down that way.
That's good. Word of mouth is good advertising too.
Oh, it sure is. Generally, when we take a dish out to set up, we have pretty close to 2-block radius of neighbors coming down to look at the thing, to say, hey, I've seen satellite TV, but I've never got close to it, and I want to see a picture on it. And when I show them the picture, they say, boy, that is super, all these channels.
Randy, I want to, before you leave, touch on one thing that's bothering a lot of dealers, either actually or potentially, and that is the word scrambling. And I know that you know what we're talking about, people being turned off possibly. Do you find that true down in Coal City and area? Okay.
Our area has a cable system which has 2 premium channels, HBO and WTBS out of Atlanta they offer on the cable, and they offer a regular set of channels that you'd normally pick up on a regular television antenna. And the people that ask me about scrambling is the people that are thinking about buying a satellite dish. The reason is because they want to have an opportunity to get more premium channels and view more than what their present cable system can offer them right now. They asked me about scrambling. I really feel that, this is my own words, that eventually there is going to be a fair market. I find that most of the people are willing to pay for the programming, and I'm willing to pay for the programming, but I want to see a fair market in it. I want to see, like, if a cable company's getting HBO at, say, $5, I don't know exactly what it is, but say if they're getting it for $5 per subscriber to a cable company, why can't a home satellite dish owner get the same deal? I only feel that's fair.
And they maintain the system besides.
Right.
Rather than at cable, somebody else is maintaining
Sure,
the system.
sure. So if you're going to offer the consumer that's got a satellite dish HBO for $21.95, and they can get it at their present cable system for the same price, that's really not fair.
No. Well, thank you very much, Randy.
Okay.
I enjoy your comments.
All right.
Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
You betcha.
It's a pleasure being here at the CES show this year.
Now let's take a look at the Tech Corner with Dale Davenport, who's going to be covering the subject of receivers.
Hello, this is Dale again in the Tech Corner, and this week we're going to be going over how to test the basic functions of your receiver. Now, your receiver is pretty much the master unit of your system, and it controls everything else in your system except the actuator itself. Now, it controls the functioning of the LNA, the down converter, and the polar rotor control, and also the tuning operation of your system. Now, another function of the receiver is that it extracts the video and audio information from the 70 megahertz that it receives and remodulates it onto a TV channel, typically channel 3 or 4, and applies that to the rear of the receiver and allows you to connect it directly into a television. Now, I'll go over how to test the functions of the receiver, some of which I've already done, but we'll go over them again. The first thing that a receiver must do is supply the polar rotor device with what it needs to function, these being the plus 5 volts, the control pulse, and a ground connection for your polarator. Now, these should be clearly marked on the rear of your receiver, and I have my ground probe of my meter connected to the ground terminal at the rear of the receiver. Now, here you can see that they are labeled plus 5 and pulse for my polar rotor device. I can take the positive of my meter, apply it to my plus 5 volts. The initial testing should be done without the wires connected to the unit. And you can in fact see that I do have 5 volts available at this terminal. I can then check my pulse. Now, my pulse reading should give me somewhere between 1/10 of a volt and 9/10 of a volt, and the important thing is that this reading varies as I adjust the skew. So I go to the pulse terminal. I now have 6/10 of a volt. As I vary this, you can see that I'm decreasing in voltage down to just a hair below 1/10 of a volt, and I can also vary all the way up to about 8/10 of a volt. This is telling me that my pulse control is functioning, such that it's putting out what the polar rotor needs to operate. I would then reconnect the wires from the polar rotor to the rear of the receiver. Recheck these readings. What you should look for is a drop in voltage. If your 5 volts drops down to 0 or say 2 volts, you know that you do have a problem on down the line, be it bad wiring or a bad P1 motor. Also, check the pulse signal after you've reconnected the wiring. If you see a substantial drop in voltage, again, you have a problem on down the line, be it the wiring or the motor itself. And that's how to check the polarator control that's housed inside the receiver. Now, another function of the receiver is to supply the down converter with its B plus voltage, which ranges from a plus 15 to a plus 23 volts, depending upon what brand of receiver you have. The Luxor unit is to supply 18 volts to the down converter. Now, what I do to test this is I take a piece of paper clip and simply insert it to act as the center conductor in the 18 volt jack. I then apply the positive probe of my meter to this, and I have 17.84 volts, which is essentially the 18 volts I require. Again, I would first check this without a line connected. I would then use a DC passive splitter, connect that up to my 18 volt line, use one terminal to feed the line to my down converter, and insert the paper clip into the unused terminal of my splitter. And then I can measure the 18 volts while it is under load. Now, again, I still have my 17 volts. If this 17 volts drops substantially, you know, again, that you have a problem somewhere on down the line, be it the line itself or the down converter or even possibly the LNA, because this same voltage is transferred through the down converter onto the LNA and is used to power up the LNA. So first check it without anything connected, and then recheck it with the line connected. If the 18 volts is not present with nothing connected, you have a problem inside the receiver. If it's there with nothing connected but it disappears or gets substantially lower once you reconnect the cabling, then you know that you have a problem on down the line. Another thing that the receiver must supply the down converter with is tuning voltage. This is generally sent up on the IF line of practically, I would say, 90% of your receivers. Again, take a paper clip, insert it into the IF input. You can, again, monitor your tuning voltage. I have 13.1 volts. The thing to look for in your tuning voltage is that it varies as you tune the receiver. And as I tune the receiver, you can see here that my tuning voltage is decreasing. I'm tuning downwards. As I tune up, my tuning voltage is increasing. So the receiver is supplying what it's supposed to. Again, I would use a DC passive splitter, connect this in line. Again, this will allow me to then put a load on it, connect it to the down converter, and yet again measure the tuning voltage through the unused port of the splitter. Now the voltage here is correct just as it was earlier. But if once you connect this up you have a problem again, you have something on down the line, be it the line between the receiver and the down converter or the down converter itself. Now another function of the receiver is to supply video and audio at the back of the receiver and an RF output that can be fed directly to a TV. Now a good way to see if your modulator is bad, if you suspect a bad modulator, as in connecting the RF output of the receiver to the back of your TV and the picture is not what it's supposed to be, take a monitor and check the raw video. If the raw video is good but the RF output is not, then you obviously have a bad modulator. If both the video and RF output is bad, then you have a problem inside the receiver. And you are also supplied with right and left stereo if your receiver is stereo compatible. These can be checked by hooking them to a small amplifier or by using very sensitive headphones and looking for an audio signal at these points. Now if at any time you are missing something, one of these voltages, then you have a problem inside the receiver. If they are there initially but they're not there when you connect it up to a piece of equipment, then the piece of equipment on down the line is bad. So with the use of a simple voltmeter and using a monitor and a TV, you should be able to check out all of the functions of your receiver. And that's about all there is to checking your receiver. Now next week I think I will go on to the actuator and from there on to block down converted systems, since that does seem to be what's the up and coming thing. So for now, this is Dale in the Tech's Corner and I'll see you next week.
Coming soon from Caltronics, the K-Max 10. This beautifully designed and crafted transparent antenna is poised to set the industry on its ear. With the latest in antenna technology, the K-Max 10 has strength, accuracy, and beauty at a price you won't believe until you experience the quality and savings yourself. Baked acrylic, thermoset black finish, super strength ribs, hub, and rim. It's the K-Max 10, and it's coming soon, and the satellite system buyer will be the big winner. Look for it, the K-Max 10 by Caltronics.
Here's the cable trencher that you've always looked for but have never found until now. The little dropper has durability, quickness, maneuverability, and economy all rolled up in its compact three-wheel body. How does it rate with the competition? Let's watch. The little dropper starts out against a trencher that costs twice as much but delivers only a fraction of the dropper's capabilities. Note the cleanness of the operation. its maneuverability. Almost effortless, it weaves around obstacles with a nimbleness that makes the competition look like it's hibernating. Mission accomplished. The Little Dropper heads for a new site while the competition is still slugging it out. The Little Dropper handles 90% of all your trenching work. It saves time because you can drive it from site to site. It's rugged, dependable, and simple to operate. The Little Dropper has an extra heavy-duty clutch and a rear-end differential. Flotation-type tires are easy on the lawn, and it can be unhooked for other uses such as pulling a trailer. Looks great, drives great, and works great. And best of all, it costs less than you'd ever believe. Its base price at under $4,000. That's right, under $4,000 for the Little Dropper.
Well, this week's number in our serial number contest is number 8102. That would be your winning number, 8102. If this number is on your Coltronics antenna mount, you're the winner. Send in your name and address with the winning number and copy the other words on that serial number decal. You'll be sent an attractive Coltronics windbreaker with our compliments. Send in the winning number, your name and address, of course, and you'll be the winner. Just a little note, effective starting our July 2nd show, showtime will be moving to transponder 5. There's not much of a move, but it's the same time, same satellite, but transponder 5, effective July 2nd. The rest of June, it'll be here on 22. And a reminder, our branch offices and warehouses are located in 3 strategic parts of the country, and they welcome your calls when you're in that region or if you are located in that region and want service. They're located at Boulder, Colorado, at Las Vegas, Nevada, and at Marietta, Georgia. One of the more interesting things we've learned from people who have phoned in our viewer survey, and it's consistently a pleasure to get these calls, is that we should emphasize the need for dealers, distributors, and interested consumers to contact their local media so that the industry gets a fair shake. So know your media in your area. Take them to your place of business. Invite them in, escort them in, show them around, explain this exciting industry to them. That would be your newspaper editor, the people in the shopping news in your area, your local radio station, and your regional people from TV. They all should know, because then they can be fair and give you a fair shake in their coverage of the industry. And they have a firm, hands-on, at least eyeball approach to what it's all about, because they know the local dealer, mainly you, who will give them the information they need. Now, at times it's also good, of course, to get your local governmental representative to stop in. And don't be shy about calling and phoning and even writing them with your concerns and with your interesting articles about the industry. And speaking of articles, please try to get news releases out of a local nature, and it's basically quite simple. Keep them short, keep them informative, and just simply tell what, when, where, how, and sometimes why the subject matter of your article. Keep active in space organization. Be a member and find out how you can become a member and boost the industry through space. In addition to the distributors that you saw listed on the screen, we have two more to tell you about. One is National CompuSat of Prairie View, Kansas, and their number you'll see on the screen. And the other one is Current Technology. They're out in Phoenix, Arizona, and their number is on the screen. And now a final reminder that effective on our July 2nd show, we'll be moving just a short distance from 22 to 5. So on July 2nd and thereafter, it'll be transponder 5 rather than the current one, 22, which you're watching tonight. And 22 will be the case right through June, but July 2nd we start on transponder 5. So keep that in mind, please. And I hope you enjoyed tonight's issue of Video Newsletter by Caltronics.
Thank you, Joe. That's all for this evening's Satellite Showtime, brought to you by our corporate sponsors, including Luxor North America and Caltronics Incorporated. It's not too late to call us with your answer to our question of the week. That question is, do you consider scrambling a real threat to the satellite industry? Call us tonight. Our numbers are 800-826-5285, 608-647-4246, and 608-647-8902. Next week, we'll bring you more from the Consumer Electronics Show in Chicago. We'll also start preparing you for the Space STTI show in Tulsa in 10 days. Until next week, good night.